Namaste everyone. I hope you all are keeping well both physically as well as mentally. I'm Moumita official and welcome to a brand new episode of SOS, which stands for Stories of Success. Today we are celebrating National Sports Day of India. And to celebrate that, we have Mr. Lohith Vijay, who is a fencing coach and a certified FIE international referee. He has 8 years of coaching experience, including work with the Sports Authority of India and the Indian and Karnataka state fencing teams. He is also associated with the Bengaluru Fencing Club, where he is involved in coaching and event organization. In addition to fencing, he has worked in other professional roles such as relationship manager and also a recovery team member. Without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Lohith Vijay on today's very special SOS session and start the session for today.
Yes, hi, Moumita, how are you?
I'm doing good. Hi, good evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Lohith, for joining. I am a nationalist, so I love everything about India, my country.
Yes, it's very good to know, and I keep seeing your posts and your work, so absolutely. So I really appreciate that. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome to today's episode where we are celebrating National Sports Day of India. So I have, known you virtually from a long time now, and I have seen a lot of your work. Let us start with your journey, like as it is a story of success. We are talking about today on the occasion of National Sports Day. How did you start your journey to sports? Tell us something from the beginning, like when you were a child, and what attracted you to come and join sports.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to tell, I would still not consider my journey to be successful, as you were telling, that I have achieved success. No, not at all. I'm still in the process of, and enjoying my journey. That's all. So success is basically defined by person to person in terms of what they want to achieve and things like that. So there's nothing successful that I have done. So far, whatever I've done is just, followed my passion. So in order to tell how I started this, so fencing is not a very popular sport, but fencing came to Karnataka in '95, considering that there's national games that's going to be held in Karnataka. So fencing has more number of medals to be won after athletics, swimming, and gymnastics. So they thought the host, if they have a fencing team, then they can have more medals. So that's how fencing came to Karnataka in Bengaluru. And my parents thought fencing is a new sport, so why not put my sister into it first? So I was nowhere in the picture. So my sister was about 10-year-old and I was about 8-year-old. So I would say it is an accident because they could not leave me home alone. So I had to come with her. I was not allowed to practice the first year because they did not allow small kids to practice fencing at that age. So I used to just watch and observe the movements. And I used to do the same movements when I used to go back home, like at the bus stop. So looking at that, my coach, he thought, why not put him into the training also, since he's already there and it's showing so much interest after a year. So I was about 9 when I slowly started training. And at 10, I was already, national level bronze medalist in the sub-junior category under 14. So that's when he thought, okay, he's somebody that I can invest on. And that's how my journey began in fencing. And to be more precise and to cut it short, I turned my passion. Fencing became my passion and participated in many national competitions, international. And then I turned my passion into profession.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So it's been a journey of self-discipline and on and on about transformation, self-discovery, these things. Yes.
Great. Great. So see, first you told me that you do not believe that you are a successful person. But my definition of success is that even if I am not popular, but I am able to impact even one life at a time, I would consider that person to be successful. and you have
Right.
impacted so many lives. So, at least for me, you are a very genuine and successful person, Mr. Lohith. Now,
Thank you.
talking about fencing, a lot of people are still, unaware about what is fencing. So, can you throw some light into the minds of our viewers today that what is actually fencing?
So I'll just give you a small brief about fencing, considering our time that we are on the call now. So fencing is basically, it's a Olympic sport. It is one of the four sports that has been part of the start of the modern Olympics. In 1896, when modern Olympics started, they were like, sports, the four sports that started. And after that, there were a few other sports that were sometimes neglected and withdrawn. So there are only four sports which is always featured in the Olympics from the start of modern Olympics. So it carries that rich heritage of Olympics. The founder of, let's say, the father of modern fencing is also the father of the Olympics, which is Piers the Coubertin. And there are more than 160 countries that play fencing. And fencing is the only combat sport which does not have a weight category. So that is why it is also defined as physical chess. So it is not only about how strong you are, how tall you are, and these things. So here it is also your thinking ability that really matters. How quickly you can think, how quickly you can move your body with your thinking. So it's like physical chess. So basically you try to overcome the thinking of your opponent and use your physical ability also. It's like 60%, I would say, mental ability and 40% is physical ability. So that's a
Wonderful.
small brief about fencing. It's basically sword fighting, but in a much more safer way. So to be
Okay.
more, let's say, people out there, they want to do fencing. The only reason being since it carries that heritage of sword fighting.
Okay, okay, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Even I had very less knowledge about fencing, although I have learned a lot from you, following you on social media. Now, as we are celebrating National Sports Day, and you are connected to the Sports Authority of India as well. Now, tell us something that how did you get connected so that the people who are interested in building their career into sports, they get some guidance from your end.
Well, see, firstly, I would tell them that you have to do any sports. I wouldn't just recommend them or confine them to one sport. I would recommend them to have tried any sport. So that culture has to start from the beginning. Parents have to put their kids after 6 or 7 years into any sport. So I would ask parents to make them try most of the sports as much as possible until the age of 12, 13. After that is when you can select one particular sport and then start building towards that sport. So what sports does is, when you are sitting in a classroom, you're studying for exam. There are about 10 students. So everybody can score 100 out of 100. But let's say 10 people in the same stadium going attending the same training program by the same coach, but only one wins gold, one wins silver, and then bronze. So this teaching cannot be taught by any of the books. So it carries, it gives you that kind of experience. So it is not only about winning medals. So let's say all these seven of them wouldn't win medal. It teaches them to how to get back after a huge loss. So that no school, no college or university teaches as part of curriculum, as a real life experience. So this is basically a real life experience. So that is why I would recommend everybody to try a sport at least. Let's say people talk about fitness and everything. So let's say even if you have to be in our society, as a good citizen, I think sports definitely teaches you how to be the best citizen that you can be in the society.
Absolutely. I remember those days, when we were kids and we had plenty of grounds beside, not like this modern generation's park where we have very less place to, play a good sport. You just have to pay fees to go. However, when we were kids, we had this amazing small parks and we had this colony. We could go anywhere and play. These days, it is missing a lot because everything is urbanized and people around us live in apartments and traffic all around us. So it becomes tough for kids to even concentrate on sports because they rely majorly on school or the indoor games. Now, when you were a kid, how did that motivate you mentally as well as give you the courage that okay, I will choose sports as my profession? Because these days everybody, as you said, is concentrating majorly on being competitive, and you have to become first, second, or third, you have to be a world champion. But as you said very rightfully that no, it is one of the most necessary things, and I also agree to that, because I have noticed this, that because the kids are not playing much outside, it is also affecting their mental health, which in the long run is also affecting their education. Because when we were playing, we had this fun and excitement, and we used to forget a lot of things which are not necessary. But now we are confined to our rooms, and we have more time to think all the unnecessary things these days. So sports helps the students a lot, even in their education, to excel in their fields. So tell us how you could make it your career, while pursuing your dreams, at the same time following your passion and also making it your career.
Uh, well, yes, it has been very challenging. It was not easy to be where I am, and also to pursue sports as a profession, from passion turning into a profession. It's been a lot of ups and downs, but it's just that you have to be consistent, and you need to have that self belief that you have to. If you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect somebody else to believe in yours, right? And anything for that matter, I've been always thought that if your intentions are good, I think no matter, and if you keep working towards that thing, I would say from some or the other place, you will definitely find some help. It's not the end of the world. So you need to have that right attitude, and one step at a time. You cannot have, all of a sudden, you cannot be disappointed if you don't get something as per what you have planned also. So consistency is the key here. The small, things that you do every day, because I always tell my, advise my players also that what you do in training is maybe just 30-40% in the training, but how you are outside plays a huge role. So you need to understand how you behave with your parents, how you behave with your friends, how you are outside is a reflection that you carry inside. So that is a mix of what you are. So that is why it's very important for you to, number one, be patient, understand the process, and then go for it. But at the same time, you need to also understand how this world works. So you need to definitely have an education background. I would definitely tell my players to study, get a graduation, get a life apart from sports also, because our system which is there does not cater completely for professional sports. That's a small unfortunate thing. So that is why it is, we have some setbacks and other things. So I pursued my graduation. So my parents were cool. They said that you can do what you want, but you need to have a backup. So it is not that I left college and school. I just pursued my sports. So that didn't happen. I did my education along with sports, and I did how much it was required for me. I understood that is going to serve as my backup. But on the other hand, I still had that confidence that I would start working towards it. In between, I felt that when I was a coach initially without any experience, obviously I got paid lesser than my friends who were getting 10 times more than what I used to get paid. So that made a huge difference, not once or twice, it's like 10 times more than what I'm getting paid. Obviously, money is also important as you get into the life for your daily needs and supporting your family. But so that is where you don't give up. Let's say you have a thing in you, you need to make it work. So if you have a, let's say if you are selling something, let's say for example a t-shirt, so you can sell that for 300 rupees or maybe 3000 rupees also. So it is all that attitude that you carry and how you pursue forward. So like I said, challenges were always there, But the first thing is I believed in myself, and most importantly, my mother, my sister, my family members, they provided that kind of support also to, get to where I am. So it is not just one person, what I am today is.
Absolutely. You have said it very rightfully that a good family and supportive parents, supportive siblings play very pivotal roles in building our career, because it's not about everybody is good at
And
studies or
one
education.
more thing I would like to add is that I was lucky that I got one of the best coach also and some good facilities to do, fencing at the initial stage. So I cannot
Yeah,
forget that.
absolutely. Adding to this, you are also a coach. Now, can you share a very, unforgettable memory where you had this amazing story about you coaching somebody and it was special, and you would like to share it with everybody today?
So for me, I started with a club, and I was successful with the club. And then I used to work for the Karnataka Fencing Association as well for grooming the Karnataka team initial days. And then I moved to the Karnataka state government. So that's when I got an opportunity to work under a scheme which was only meant for tribal students. So that scheme was meant only for tribal students. I had to go find tribal students, the remotest place in Karnataka, bring them, talent scout them, and then it was very challenging for me to bring them out of their place, their house, and then bring them to hostel. So once they were here, uh, you have every day is a challenge because they are not just like normal kids. Since I worked in
Mhm.
Bangalore with the, mostly the hi-fi kids, and because fencing is an expensive sport. And then once I moved there and started working for this project, it was completely a different challenge, and every day was challenging. So that also helped me what I am today, and that made me understand that once I understood their family background, from where they come from. The best part is Karnataka government gave them everything like fencing equipments, place to stay, food, education. So I made sure them that they also finish their education at the same time and get a job. So that was the main thing. They're winning more than national medal or international participation. From that, that six boys, I have had like one international participation and four national medal. So more than that, I think these six guys when they passed out, having to be the first graduate in their entire family or maybe their the generation, they are the first generation degree holders and getting a job. So that was the most satisfying thing, and to get there was the biggest challenge that I would say. So this is the story that I always want to tell other coaches also. It is not just about medal. So for me, that job for them and that education that they've cleared is like more than an Olympic medal for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's such an inspiring thing which you have shared today. And I hope that a lot of us watching this today would get inspiration from this. Now, as we are celebrating National Sports Day, what does National Sports Day mean to you? Because when we were having a conversation about having this podcast, you said that there are very less people who generally know that what is National Sports, the date of National Sports Day of India. And what does National Sports Day mean to you, both personally as well as professionally? Please share.
Well, first thing that comes into my mind as National Sports Day is the birthday of the legendary Dhyan Chand, because he is the one of the biggest inspiration of those times. So we celebrate the sports day on his birthday. So that's the first thing that comes into the mind. So for me, National Sports Day is something that gives a small recognition to sports. So you have these days like Environmental Day, Republic Day, so these things like it's like a festival for sportsmen, coaches, everybody, the entire sports fraternity. There is a day to remember to it because the kind of hard work, dedication, everything that goes into it. So people must understand that sports is also a thing because earlier sports was not given much importance, So I think it actually appreciates the kind of effort all the athletes are putting, and then the coaches, support staff, and also why not the government also spending so much money on sports and creating this infrastructure. So it is a day for them who are into the sports field. So I feel, very good when it is a sports day and somebody wishes me happy sports day. So it gives a different feeling.
So now, I have another question which I had in mind, and I want to ask you that what changes have you observed in India's sports culture over this past few years, since the day you have started your career till date, and are we moving in the right direction?
I would say there's a huge change. Now, being part of the sports thing, the changes were happening slowly. So that's why people didn't believe in the change. But it has made a lot of changes. The best example is if you just go and Google for the last 10 years or 20 years, sports budget. That itself will tell you how big the changes have come. So for me, it has been a major change. And if you ask me if you're going in the right path, yes, to an extent, yes. But there is always, areas of improvisation. So one thing that I would point out here that where we are slightly lacking in terms of, after doing all these things, the investment and all those things. I think if you look at the other countries, most of their Olympians are also part of their, World University Games. That means they're also having a good education background there. But here, if you look at our Indian team, which went to the World University Games, in all the sports I'm talking about, not just fencing, and the team that goes to Olympics, it's totally different. So I would recommend, sports to be as much as possible be a subject in school so that the trend starts from the school. And at universities, you need to have such facilities, not just at SAI centers or NCOE centers or Khelo India centers. These centers needs to be inside the university or the college campus so that these people also have this balanced life of studies as well as sports. So this is the only thing I feel because if you look at even IIT or IIM, if you look at MIT, there are still sports there. In Harvard, you have one of the best fencing team. Stanford has one of the best fencing team. So something like that, our big universities must also invest in these things, and the government also must support them. And this is one part that I feel that we are slightly lacking it, that we have to do that. Otherwise, if you ask me, apart from this, I think it's everybody's responsibility that they must support the sports. You cannot just blame the government. You cannot just blame the system because, okay, let's say I'll give you an example. So people say I'm not, supporting the sport because it's not on television. Okay, so let's say why do people project it on television? There's so much cost into putting it on television because there is no PR, right? So there's no TRP there because people are not watching it. So end of the day, it comes back to you, right? And you must understand, let it be, on social media also, how many sportsmen are you following apart from cricketers?
True.
So these questions needs to be asked by everybody and then tell that, they are not supporting or, the government is not supporting or they are not doing the right things. So let's look into our own individual first. And when that changes, I think everything changes.
Absolutely. Now, there are initiatives like Hello India, which our government is taking initiatives on. And yeah, you have said it again very rightfully that people generally want to see something which is viral, right? You might have noticed this when you scroll through the reels, maybe, for if I give an example. If you see that there are 1 million likes, you stop the scrolling and you watch that particular reel or short, even if it doesn't resonate with you. However, if there is a person who is a very good athlete, right? But they stay in a rural area and he just wants to show the world that, see, I am very good at it. I love playing basketball or a game which may be kind of a kabaddi, and see, I'm doing this. He just wants to share it with people so that he receives the encouragement, but there is no much like. We as an individual just scroll it down without encouraging it. And I do not understand this kind of mentality among his people, that why do people have this kind of mentality that we will only support that individual who has made it big. Why don't we support those who are trying to make something big? What are your thoughts in this?
Well, I believe, see, that is what an individual makes a family, family makes a small society, and society builds into a bigger society and then bigger society. So it is just the thought process of people that they have been, so much busy with the other life in terms of because like I said, our schooling system does not focus on the actual sports. I'm not talking about all this, like there are few schools which really supports sports. So I believe if every school, because habits, turn into who you are today. The small habits that you start from schooling or from your home culture actually turns out to become into a bigger picture. So once you start putting a habit into, going for sports becoming an major thing in your life, then that takes a transformation as you grow. So I think it's important that as parents, you have to introduce them to certain sports because being fit is the only thing that was required during COVID. No matter how the situation was in terms of education or going to office, everything was blocked. But they only said that you need to stay fit. So sports is one of the major thing that gives you fitness. So if you remember that, I think that can be adapted in every family and also at schools. Then that habits might slowly change. Otherwise, you cannot just keep blaming the society because who we are is basically an output of the society only, right? You cannot tell that the let's say the politicians or the minister is not doing that work. So where do you think that person has come from? He's also come from the same society that you live in. So there is no point blaming somebody. I think first thing is when you start, that's why I told you, first you need to ask yourself those questions that am I first being physically active? And am I doing anything that can support sports, which is free of cost? The best
Yes.
example is you can just start following a sportsman on Instagram and Facebook. That won't take anything from you, right? So it starts from there. Then you understand how you can go to the next level on supporting or promoting them.
Okay. See, you have coached a lot of people, as I know. So now, what is your take that what are the qualities in an individual which differentiates a good athlete from a great one?
Well, see, there is always this age-old question which says, are champions born or champions made? There's always a big debate about these two things that are going. What I believe is definitely champions are made, but at the same time, let's say if somebody they say champions are born, some people say that it is basically a talent that everybody has a talent. Let's say you have a very good talent, maybe in volleyball, because of the vertical jumps that you can do. Maybe you are very good at football because of the agility skill that you have. That's something, that talent that you have. But if you don't find the right person to guide you, the talent is
Yes.
gone wasted. That's the first number one step. Second thing is that if you stop working hard, hard work is like the most major thing that you have to do it on everyday basis. It is like an installment that you're paying. Hard work is like an installment that you pay for success. So if you're not paying it on time, then your interest keeps going up. No matter how talented you are, I don't think you can make it. So it is these factors that actually makes a real sportsman. So there's nothing, concrete that only, it's like, that is why I told you it is not like studies, it is not like maths or science that you apply this formula. This is what will be the output. Every time we, do something, you definitely have another output of that also. So it's also about coach, how he takes that outcome and, starts moving forward. You cannot just, come to a conclusion all of a sudden. Coaching is every day, it's a learning process. So you cannot be
Absolutely.
concrete that this is what things. So you have to keep experimenting every day and try to get better.
Right. So apart from Major Dhyan Chand, who is your favorite athlete?
My favorite athlete, would be basically it's based on what my mother said. I remember that. I would, for me, two athletes. One is Milka Singh and the other one is PT Usha. The reason being, so one day I was talking to my mother and she said that that she used to like when we watch Olympics on the TV, she used to really like to come and sit and watch the running events. So I asked why only running events, why not something else? Like she said that everybody can run, but in that also if somebody is coming first, because running is a natural action. So that made me think how difficult running is, because all the other sports is a skill based sport. Like let's say even in athletics, long jump, high jump, hockey, football, all these are skill-based sport. You need to be introduced to it. You need to be like trained to it. But running is something a natural action. Even if there is any crisis, anybody can run. But out of that, you are working hard and then you are running. So I would prefer. That's why I would always rate the runners. So in India, I would consider Milka Singh and PT Usha to be the most the ultimate role model, because in those days they did not get even like 10% of the support that athletes are getting today. If we do have very good athletes today, starting from Hima Das, Mohammad Anas, so many record holders and everything, but they stand apart because they never got even 10% of the support that these people are getting today. In fact, Milka Singh didn't even have shoes. So, he came from that background and, he has achieved so many things. So that is why I feel these two are like, my major lookups to sports.
Wonderful. You have mentioned many a times that hard work plays a great role in defining our success or failure. However, I want to ask, what are your thoughts on luck? Because I have seen a lot of people who are very hardworking, but they are not lucky enough to be present in the right place at the right time. So, what do you think? Do luck exist, or it is all about hard work?
Well, like I said, first and foremost thing is, your intention should be right. You need to have, a long-term plan, basically. And then if your intentions are right, you're working towards it, then like I said, you will definitely find help. The problem is that people quit too early. You never know when, like I said, you cannot rate success. Like you said, you are looking up to me as a successful person because that's your perspective. There are others also who are looking up to me. But for me, I don't look myself to be successful yet because it's my perspective. So you cannot really rate that. Like I said, somebody might tell that, the coach who has got Olympic medal is the most successful person. For me, I said that, the scheme that I worked there and bringing up that person to that stage was success for me. Both are into sports only, right? So I cannot tell that, I was very unlucky that, I did not get to go to the Olympics or, didn't do that. So it's all about how you look at things. Hard work is the key, and patience, how you perceive these things are more important. End of the day, it's you who's going to judge yourself. When I go back to sleep, I need to think that, okay, this is what I did. I'm done. If I can't keep thinking about somebody else and then feel that, I'm being left out and I'm not being successful. That's not, how I think or how I see success to be.
Absolutely. That is a wonderful thought. And before we conclude, I would like you to share your message to everyone watching this today on the eve of National Sports Day.
Well, I would only tell one thing that hard work is the only key to success. So you need to have patience because today's generation does not have patience, which is the only thing that you lack. And slow and small improvements that are going on in your life, that will play a major role in the long term. So do not quit very early. Give it some time. Okay, have the right intention and keep working hard. So that is all you need. And the last thing is never compare yourself to somebody else to tell whether you are successful or not. It is you versus you. So that's how you need to take it forward.
A fantastic thought. And I completely agree that you are your own competition. Do not compare yourself with anybody else because God or the Almighty, whoever you believe in, has created you completely different from others. Not even the twins are same. So why compare with others when you are completely built in a different way? Just follow your passion, follow your heart, and be a supporter of sports, because that helps in bridging the gap between your education, making your mental health stronger, also building your physical health. And I appreciate you being our guest today and sharing your insights, Mr. Lohith. I'm so grateful to you for being a part of this wonderful discussion. And thank you so much.
Well, it's the same thing. It's a pleasure to be part of this thing. Thank you also for having this and doing this great job to promote sports and National Sports Day in detail. So thank you very much. Yes.
It's an honor, and the pleasure is mine. And I look forward to do a lot of other sessions with you in case people like this episode. And I hope that everybody learns something from today's story of success. Thank you so much. Jai
Thank
Hind.
you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Yes.